Evommune, which began trading on the NYSE this past November, has already seen its shares surge more than 74% since pricing its IPO. Now the biotech is adding fresh momentum, announcing $125 million in new funding to accelerate its mission, developing next-gen therapies to combat inflammatory diseases. Joining me now is Luis Pena, CEO and president of Evommune. Luis, so nice to see you again.
Good to see you, Ashley. Thanks for having me this morning.
Of course. So after you announced the results of your recent phase 2 data, you received $125 million of new funding. What did that data reveal and why that reaction?
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. We had, first of all, a well-controlled trial in patients with very severe eczema. So these are patients that had up to 50% of their body covered by eczema lesions. And what our drug showed is that it had a 33% improvement over placebo in those patients. And if you look at, even though it's difficult to compare trials to trial, but historically the drugs or the medicines that have worked the best on eczema are somewhere in that range of 30 to 40% improvement in patients. And it's great to be able to achieve that in patients with such severe disease.
All right, and how is the funding, the $125 million, going to be used to move your clinical programs and mission forward?
Yeah, well, and first of all, want to say that every time that we achieve clinical success and bring in new funding is a good day for patients with autoimmune disease. As you know, Ashley, and we've discussed before, our focus is to fight inflammation. It's the #1 killer in the world. And so this additional funding actually helps us drive what's a pretty broad pipeline. And at the head of that are two programs that we're pretty excited about. The lead program is an oral, where this fights inflammation driven by mast cell disease mostly and by neurons. So we will use that funding to actually drive 3 mid-stage clinical trials forward. And then for the current readout that we just had, which is an injectable for eczema, we will now move that into a much broader phase 2B study or mid-stage clinical study, getting us ready for phase 3, hopefully.
All right, and what is some of the feedback that you're getting from patients in these trials who are seeing these results?
Yeah, I mean, it's, we had significantly improved lesions in these patients, which, again, it's about 50% of their body surface area is covered. So they have a lot of itching, redness. It's really a major impact on their quality of life. And as early as 4 weeks, they started to see improvement, and it was clinically significant. And that's important because these patients, they're suffering, they want to see improvement. If you can start to see improvement as early as 4 weeks, that is terrific. And we know from running these trials in the past, if you continue to treat them, then you're going to get even better improvement out to 4 months or longer, which is what we're looking for. And importantly, we only use two doses. So we dosed at day 0, we dosed at day 28, and they continue to see improvement out to week 12. And so as we go forward, we're going to use this funding for longer trials where we administer drug for a longer amount of time. And we think that is going to translate into even better improvements for these patients so that they not only continue to see improvement at week 4, 8, and 12, but 16 and eventually out to a year.
And Luis, besides the recent phase 2 data, you also have 2 other major milestones in 2026, and it's only February. Can you walk us through them?
Yeah, so we have a readout at the end of the second quarter with our oral drug. It's a pill for mast cell disease, and we have a trial going in chronic urticaria patients, and so that's going to read out end of the second quarter. And towards the latter part of the second half, we also, with the same drug, will have a readout in severe eczema patients. And we will also be giving guidance next quarter. With that same medicine, we will be starting a trial in migraine patients, which is really exciting. We found that the same inflammatory processes that drive that chronic urticaria, chronic eczema also causes migraine. So we're excited about initiating that trial as well.
All right. Thank you, Luis Pena, CEO and president of Evommune, for joining us on NYSE Live, and congratulations on your milestones.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Hope you have a great day.